I've always seen the word compromise as a terrible word. It's
I love
something that
compromise.
Yeah.
Love it. You know you know how brands will go, we're uncompromising.
God.
I'm very compromised.
I'm not for you.
You know who's compromised? This guy right here. Yeah. Compromise on everything.
Character. What's that?
I don't know her. Sorry to that man.
Sorry to that man. So yeah, I've always struggled with the idea of compromise. And coming into this relationship, had like one of two parallels.
Mm-hmm.
So like one end of the spectrum is, oh, I have no needs. I'm just like a really dope girlfriend, and I'm a
trad
cool
wife.
wife.
And on the other end of the spectrum,
go along with the flow. And on the other end of the spectrum, it's, well, like my needs are the number one priority. Like there are no other needs unless my needs are met.
Mm-hmm.
And like both ends of the spectrum, unsustainable and wrong. I think like there are ebbs and flows. There are moments when you need to prioritize yourself, and there are moments when you need to let go and let others prioritize themselves too, especially in a relationship. Whew.
Welcome to Playing House, the podcast about keeping your relationship sexy and secure. I am the incredibly ashy Kolter Bouchard.
And I'm Dominique Bouchard, and we are a real couple having real conversations, inviting you in as our third.
On today's episode, finding common ground, when to stand firm and when to compromise, and avoiding resentment. But first, how you doing?
What? I'm good. I was at least.
Nice.
It's your birthday week.
It's my birthday week. Yes.
33
33.
in 2023.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would have
not as
I would have
impressive.
believed you. I'm like, it's my birthday week. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Everything's great. Yeah, it's a fun age, the age Christ was.
True.
When his homies did him dirty.
Just one.
So, well,
Just one homie.
Didn't they all technically do him wrong by not rooting out the traitor?
They were never tasked with that.
Why not? Task yourselves.
Shouldn't he know and do it himself?
Boomers love to say that nobody loves to work today. That's been the case forever. The other 11 apostles, the good ones, could have taken initiative. Go
but
over
again,
and
if
above.
Jesus knew who it was, and he's like, I know who it is, y'all, and I'm not gonna say, like, that's pretty gaslighty to then put it on everybody else to like figure it out. Like, oh, is it me? Is it the dude beside me?
Coming for my Christ? How dare you? That is my Lord. It's kind of like remember when your teacher would say, all right, well, until someone admits that they did it,
oh
you're
yeah,
all in
you're
trouble.
all in trouble. You all get detention. You all have to skip
Yeah.
the school dance.
Did that ever? I know we're like so deep into the weeds here. Do you ever get like something big canceled, or like your teacher threatened to cancel it?
Yeah, they were gonna cancel the grade 8, like the grad trip.
Oh damn!
And I think like a school dance, so like a bunch of like the grade 8 graduation milestones. They were gonna cancel it because these girls were smoking in the girls' change room.
Like cigarettes?
Yeah, but also like, where did you get cigarettes? Why did you choose to do it inside? And like inside the change room where there's no windows. Like,
kids are idiots.
Kids are idiots, but
at least like do it in the bathroom and then hope that like by flushing the toilet, the smoke gets sucked into it.
Okay, that's how
I don't know
that
if
works.
that would work, but
no.
Okay.
But yeah, the washrooms at least had windows that opened. The change rooms did not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they ended up coming forward and we got to go on our trip.
Did they get to go?
Yeah.
Oh,
the 8th grade. There wasn't
lame.
any real like
Lame.
consequences.
So we went to, we did get to go to our grade 8 trip. It was Pioneer Camp.
Yikes.
They clearly hated us. It was Pioneer Camp in Muskoka, which is like cottage country. And someone pulled the fire alarm, and I know who did it. Sorry, they didn't pull the fire alarm. They dialed 911 on a payphone.
Oh, no.
And so like 911 called back, and he was too scared, too much of like a scaredy pants
to answer?
To be like, I'm sorry. I'm like, the operator would have been like, okay, thanks for admitting that. I have way bigger fish to fry than you, idiot kid.
Oof.
So then the fire truck, police, they sent them all over, and nobody would admit who did it. And they interviewed all of us, right? We sat in a circle, and they're like, we're going to find out who it is. And that's it. Nobody admitted to it. Dance is canceled.
So it was canceled?
At the very last minute, teacher was like, the cool teacher, right? He was like, all right, listen, we're going to have the dance, but
all right, listen.
just know very disappointed.
See,
in all
it's
of them.
always they always set it up like, oh, big consequences,
Yeah.
and no, there's never not at that age.
Everything's already been the
It's been
DJ's already been paid for.
Our parents have paid the fees.
Yeah.
Like, where are you putting the money?
Kids
the
are
next year?
morons.
Come on.
Kids are morons.
Yeah. But how
So
are you
anyway,
feeling about this
Happy
upcoming
my birthday.
Yeah. How are you feeling about this new age?
It's been and if you watch this regularly, you know it's been like a bit of a hectic season, right? Things are in the right direction, and I'm really excited to make an announcement when I am contractually allowed to do so. But it's just been hectic. So it maybe part of it's like being in your 30s and the magic of a birthday is kind of gone. For me, at least, you
Yikes.
love your birthday. Nobody loves their birthday more than Dominique loves her birthday. But like, I don't know. It's just like it feels like another day.
But you've never liked your birthday.
No, but I'm not like dreading it this year. I've always dreaded my birthday, and because like I'm super awkward with gifts. Historically, that has been the case. And also it feels like I've lost another year, but
Yikes.
what are we, like 4 minutes in? But cancer,
Oh,
cancer
dear.
really helped
Yeah.
me reevaluate. In all honesty, like now I'm like, another year. I get another
Yeah.
year. That's amazing. So
It's the reframe, right?
Yeah.
You've lost another year, or have you gained another year?
I'm not suffering from diarrhea. I get to have diarrhea. That's how I look at everything.
That's the reframe.
Oh my gosh, people, I have to endure possibly another Trump presidency, or I get to
Oh,
watch.
dear. How does he come up in every
Right?
single episode? How?
He's the most famous guy on earth. So.
I don't mention him in my daily life. I promise you. He does not
Okay.
come up. It's when
Cool.
I'm sitting down with you, that's when he comes up every single time.
Victim of the woke mind virus, am I right?
Dear. Shall we get into family matters?
Talk about your week. Talk about the big
Have I
plans
not done that? I
you have
already announced it's
for my
your birthday week.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Well, nothing.
Okay. Successful
As,
birthday.
as you mentioned, historically, you suck with birthdays.
Yeah.
And so these types of milestones give me a lot of anxiety now.
You already got me a gift, though.
Yes. Looking at you like,
Nice. You got me a lens I really
Yes, I
wanted.
got you the
Should I
lens
get
a
it? Do you
few
think
weeks
people are
ago.
interested? Do you think they're interested?
I'm not.
Okay, I didn't think anybody would be interested in it.
Okay.
But if you want
Are
to,
you using one of them? No.
if you want to talk about the Zeiss 135
Oh, dear.
millimeter f2, ZE or ZE for Canon, you slide into those DMs, and I got all day to talk about that
All
lens.
right.
So
It's a beautiful lens.
yeah, it's really
I
nice.
suppose. So you're
So.
welcome. Yeah. So you did mention that you want to go to a head spa.
Yeah. And then I found out what a head spa really is, and I was like, that'll still be relaxing, but could be more relaxing.
You can get the happy ending at home, I suppose. But in this case, they put you in like a recliner, and I think the recliner massages. I
Yeah?
could be wrong. And basically they have like an arch that goes over your head. That's the sink part, and it can go back and forth. They give you like, we're gonna get a facial, the head massage. So like they kind of scan your scalp and give you an in-depth. Like,
Wow. My friend Britt did this.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, she lost her hair from stress, a
Okay.
lot of it. And they do they've got the crazy camera that goes in your
Yeah. So they give you an analysis and are able to tell you like how much buildup is still in your scalp,
Yeah.
which products you need to use. Like they can see like if you have a lot of scratches because you wash with your nails, for example.
Whoa.
Yeah. They could like give you a full analysis.
Damn.
So we're going to get that.
Probably using the Zeiss 135 millimeter
Oh my goodness.
on your scalp, right?
Of course, my love.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you scan a scalp.
Yeah.
So facial, head massage, actual full body massage.
Hey.
I get a blow dry. I don't think you're getting a blow dry.
I don't think I need a blow dry.
Huh.
I just feel like it's kind of a waste on
So
me.
what are you gonna do? Walk home but wet?
It'd probably just towel off. So maybe bring my
How
own.
your life works? You can
Maybe
just
bring my
towel
own blow dryer and just be like,
off. Can I plug this in over here?
they have like how restaurants have no outside food or
Yeah.
drink. They've got like no
No blow
outside.
dries.
What are you doing in there? I'm masturbating.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
what you think. I'm not blow drying my hair.
So that's gonna be exciting. I'm excited for you. You have come around to like spas and
Yeah.
self care and all like the luxuries for yourself. You're finally
Yeah.
coming around to it. So I
I
love
got
that
great
for you.
skin now. Didn't always.
Yeah.
Super sensitive lately. I think I'm going too hard on the
Like retinoids and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Like my max is one every other night, and I've been caning it, as the Brits say. I've been like 2-3 nights in a row. I can't handle it, and I need to be.
You should not ever do that.
I need to be a 33-year-old man and just admit that like my scalp's kind of weak, and
You put in your scalp?
Sorry, not scalp. I was thinking of a head massage. You're like,
ah!
well, that's your. Why is all my hair falling out? Family matters. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the theme this week is healthy compromise.
Yeah. Let us know if that exists.
Yeah.
Hit the DMs, slide into them comments.
So when choosing this theme, it was difficult for me because I was like, first of all, we've had a lot of heavy episodes.
Yeah.
I think we're able to find like the humor in it, but we have had some like pretty heavy episodes. Like we just spoke about like apologizing and saying sorry, and what was last week? Good God, how did we forget? Go ahead. You remember?
I'm giving you the opportunity.
You look like you're gonna say something.
No, couples therapy.
Yeah.
It was couples therapy.
So yeah, we've had quite a few like heavy episodes. So I'm like, should we just dive deeper into the heavy themes? But like the reality of when talking about relationships, like especially long-term relationships, you gotta go through some of the crap first, right?
Yeah, and it's also good to like, I don't know, hit the merry-go-round a little bit, Sometimes just like come up for a little bit of air, have some fun,
Do you think this is the fun topic?
Yeah.
Healthy compromises?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say that I've always seen the word compromise as a terrible word.
I love compromise.
Yeah.
Love it. You know how brands will go, we're uncompromising.
Oh, God.
I'm very compromised.
I'm not for you.
You know who's compromised? This guy right here. Yeah. Compromise on everything.
Character. What's that?
I don't know her. Sorry to that man.
Sorry to that man. So yeah, I've always struggled with the idea of compromise, and coming into this relationship had like one of two parallels.
Mm-hmm.
So like one end of the spectrum is, oh, I have no needs. I'm just like a really dope girlfriend, and I'm a
trad
cool
wife.
So how did we always come back to this?
I've mentioned it.
Trad wife.
I do mention my boy Donald Trump all the time, but
don't call him your boy.
No, like if you're this deep into
you need to
it,
be very clear about this.
Will not be a clip, obviously, which would be very funny if I turned it into one. No, Trump's the worst, obviously. But trad wives, I feel like I mentioned that in the very first episode we did.
That was the very first.
Maybe even the unaired pilot, episode 0. And this is the second time I've brought it up.
No, you bring them up.
Trad wives?
Yes, quite often.
Okay.
Quite often. I swear we need to do it like a recap show where that's it. It's a bunch of air horns. It's the mention of Trump, and it's trad wives. That's what it is. And it's
our best
trying
episode.
to get us to stop recording to go upstairs. Like that'll be the entire episode.
Like that episode got you 9,000 followers. Subscribers. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Yes. So on one end, it's I have no needs. I'm just a cool girlfriend. I'm a cool wife. I'll go along with the what?
I wanted to say trad wife again. And on the other end of the spectrum,
go along with the flow. And on the other end of the spectrum, it's like my needs are the number one priority. Like there are no other needs unless my needs are met.
Mm-hmm.
And like both ends of the spectrum, unsustainable and wrong. I think like there are ebbs and flows. There are moments when you need to prioritize yourself, and there are moments when you need to let go and let others prioritize themselves too, especially in a relationship. Whew.
And it's hard to like claim that time for yourself, right? Sometimes it's, you said it a moment ago, you're like, you need to put your own priorities first, or prioritize yourself. And it's difficult. Like there's a lot of guilt that comes along with that as well. And that gets into, we'll talk about resentment in a bit, but I think that really gets into that is far from people achieving like a good balance of the two. It's often like 80% one and then 80% the other. Where like you have a little bit of a mix, but it's not a healthy mix.
Yeah.
Ideally it's 50-50, right? It's equity over equality. I know that right now you need a little bit more juice, right? And other times you realize that I need a little bit more juice.
Absolutely.
But if we're always feeling supported when it's our turn, or we feel like there's gratitude when we're supporting the other person, then I think it is sustainable.
And we've spoken about this quite a few times. Like, I'm going through a little rough patch. Having a few...
rough patches.
Why is it over in here? Why? I'm
sorry. Just like ironically for rough patches. I thought that was funny.
Damn air horn. I'm sorry. It's more of a question than anything.
I take that back. I don't. I wish I could do it again.
But I've been going through like a rough patch. And so you had a conversation with me very recently, letting me know that like it's time, like put on your oxygen mask, whatever you need to do, just fix it. And like absolutely so. I just think it's important for us to acknowledge and not be ambiguous and cryptic with the conversation. So when talking about healthy compromise, one of the first things that I think of is our careers. And so because we met in university, we're obviously like looking to build our careers and get to a point where, you know, we have a 9-to-5 or whatever our careers were going to look like. When I got, I'll start here. When I got the job offer in Dubai. First, you got the offer in Dawson. Go ahead.
No, I just I was not a good partner. I was actively working against you in that time. And not ideal, right?
Not ideal. Absolutely.
No air horn for that.
Oh, really?
So we'll do a mental air horn.
Yeah. So you were working in a small town, because that's how the radio industry in Canada works. You've got to start off, like, pay your dues, basically. Start in a very small town.
Not always, I'm learning, by the way.
Oh,
not always I'm learning. Good. I'm learning that there are people with great connections that don't have to do that.
That's nice.
You know, good for them.
Shout out to them.
Sure.
Sound jaded.
Yeah.
And so that was the year after we graduated. So we graduated 2013, and in 2014 you started. I moved out with you. And despite, I remember I went to celebrate with my mentor at the time, and he pulled me aside and he's like, Dom, don't go. I'm going to be fair. He was tipsy. So he said it
that guy so much.
No, you don't.
And he's so successful.
You don't hate him.
A little bit, yeah.
He's like, Dom, don't go. It's going to suck. It's going to ruin your career. And I was like, whoa. Again, he had a view to drink.
Right about some of it.
Right.
But also you know what I mean? That guy.
So yeah, he was saying it because he was my mentor, and that was the role that he had in my life at that time. And so I didn't appreciate it then, but I do appreciate, looking back, yeah, he was right. But I was like, I
love this beautiful cracker.
And so we moved out there, and I lived out in Dawson Creek, BC.
Survived.
And nobody hired me, and I was one of 5 Black people
30.
And got called the N-word on the streets, which you know, that can happen anywhere, but just happened a lot more often there.
Yeah.
And then I got a job offer in Dubai. Well, first I moved back to Toronto. You were still in Dawson. Started working at an agency here. And then they opened up a new office in Dubai, and they're like, Dom, we want you to head up our digital marketing department. Come with us out to Dubai. And I was like, hell yes. Yeah. Hell yes.
You're like, no winter, hey? And it's currently winter here.
Yeah.
Say nothing more. I'd like to sign.
And when I told you, you were up for it. Were you up for it? I feel like you were.
I thought it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
My issue was, and this is 23-year-old Kolter. We hadn't even. No, it was around the time we got married, because this was a very serious consideration, and I was like, well, I'll never work in radio again. I'm quitting. Oh my God, it's gonna be so hard to get a job. Meanwhile, I got a job there, literally right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing a way better job, making more money. So, also in radio. I think I made 3 times what I made in Dawson Creek.
Wow.
Which Dawson Creek was nothing, so that's not saying a whole lot. But a pivotal life moment going.
Yeah.
And I should have trusted you earlier on that.
Well, I didn't know that was going to be the case, but I was just, for me, it was more so a matter of this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and this is an opportunity that's coming to me as a recent graduate.
Yeah.
Like and I was big on lean in, reading all those like
Girl boss
type books.
CEO.
And so Sheryl Sandberg had a quote in the book that was like, when someone offers you a seat in a rocket ship, you don't ask which seat, you just strap in. So for me, it was like, yeah, I'm going to strap. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what your plan is for this agency even. I just want in on this rocket ship. And so the fact that you weren't as excited as I was.
Disheartening.
It was. But I was also like, I was hoping you wouldn't call my bluff, but I was like, whether you come or not, I am going.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think I would have gone if you didn't come because it's scary.
Wussy.
But you did not call my bluff, so you came out. So I think that was an example of a time that I had to hold my ground.
Or at least pretend to hold your ground. At least fake it a bit.
And a time when you decided to compromise. So what made you make the decision to compromise?
As a real quick aside, because you mentioned lean in, I feel like that quote from Sheryl Sandberg or anybody should be a little bit different today. And maybe the quote of when you get on a rocket ship, what is it? You just get on.
When you get offered a seat on a rocket ship, you don't ask which seat.
Now maybe the quote is like, hey, if it looks or talks like Mark Zuckerberg, maybe it's bad for Earth. And maybe we avoid it.
Okay.
So, I think that, kind of the worst. But, yeah, what a weird guy.
Okay.
Just like has been a net negative, I think, for humanity. So,
well,
yeah. Sheryl Sandberg, complicit.
Fair enough.
What set the stage for me, like, what?
I have lipstick on the microphone.
You got lipstick on the microphone? Oh, man. Can you even wash these things? I have a little bit of fluff.
Can you touch it? It's probably ASMR right now.
We're both tempted to. No, don't.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
You've done enough.
Really want to.
You have done enough. Realizing, like, that was a wake-up call. You saying, like, I'm going regardless. That was a real wake-up call of, like, what do I love more? And what has more potential? This woman that I love so much, or a job in the smallest, crappiest town ever. And the answer was a pretty close tie, I'll be honest. But eventually, we decided to go to Dubai together. And I'm so glad we did.
But I think that's what gives me question. Like, because it all worked out, I feel like it's a good story. And it's like, oh, yeah, I stood my ground and he made a compromise and it all worked out for us. But what if it didn't work out? What if we went there and I hated my job and we went there and you
did hate
didn't?
your job.
Well, it was a cool job at the end of the day. Like, I did some really dope stuff.
Yeah.
You did some dope stuff.
I worked with the most manipulative woman on earth.
Right.
The single most, well, and Zuck, two of them.
You worked at Mark Zuckerberg.
I guess, I've used Meta products, so I guess you could say, you should call me a MetaMate, you know?
I don't think you can.
Practically. Big fan of his work.
And you didn't get a job, for example, when you landed and like ended up hating our time there. Would that still be a success story of like, it was necessary for me to stand my ground?
Yeah, I think
ultimately give you an ultimatum, I think. I didn't so much say like, if you don't come, we're not going to be together anymore.
That was
leaving.
implicit.
But it was, yeah.
Yeah, when you phrase it like that.
Right? Like, I'm kind of...
Maybe I worked with the second most manipulative woman on
Oh, my
earth.
God.
I think it's the, it feels so trite to say this, but it's the thought that counts. And it did work out. And like it always would have worked out. Maybe not that exact sequence of events, or maybe like I didn't find a job right away, or I didn't find a job right away in my field, or I had to try something else. Like it would have worked out because you and I are people that make it work out.
Absolutely.
Look at us now. Come on. Look at us now.
Yeah, I think regardless of the outcome, it was important for me as a woman who was a recent graduate early on in her relationship
To have some autonomy.
to set that boundary, to say to myself, this is my priority. This is why I went to school for 4 years. I'm going to take this risk on myself, whether my partner is beside me or not.
I feel like I was also a pretty big risk for you. You know?
I don't think so.
You don't think like hooking up with me was a risky move?
No, why?
Oh, just because like
Because you're such a bad boy. You're such a rebel without a cause.
I have a cause.
Such a lone wolf.
I have a cause.
What's your cause,
Grinding.
sir?
I get out. What I eat for breakfast.
While y'all are sleeping, I'm grinding.
Yeah. Yeah. Sleeping. Not me. Woke as hell. I got the woke mind virus, but it's the good one.
So that's in careers. Well, then we also get into parenthood and careers, right? So
Miss me with both.
really,
You know what I mean? Just like, nah. Earlier you were like, oh, 9 to 5s. I want a 9 to 9:15. I want a 15-minute work week on Mondays, 9 to 9:15. That's it. Take some feet pictures, post them, and
Some
that's
feet
it.
pictures.
Sweatpants or whatever.
it might be more work than you think.
It
Like
definitely is.
lighting and angles and how you getting pictures of your own feet. That sounds like a lot,
I mean, I have a 3-camera studio.
right?
And
But like investment, time, effort.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. I'm not putting the dogs out there for free.
Okay, I'm just saying, like
charging.
it's not a 9 to 9:15.
Okay.
Parenthood, and then so as my career continued to grow, and then I got pregnant, and it was always in my mind that like the privilege of living in Canada and having 1 year parental leave or up to 18 months
Yep.
parental leave, I always knew that I was going to take that time to be with my newborn. And then the idea was I would always get back to work.
You got screwed on that time, by the way.
I can't talk about it.
She got screwed on the time.
My NDA specifically says I cannot go on podcasts and discuss
Podcasts.
it. It literally outlined podcasts. It said blogs, podcasts, interviews,
For how long?
television. I have to reference that.
It might be over now.
I don't think it's that short.
Let's
'cause
do a
it's
full
only
episode
been-
where you read the contract.
the contract. It's only been 4 years, so it wouldn't be a 4-year. That's such a random amount of time.
Maybe 3. NTWA.
Hmm.
So up to 18 months of parental leave, and you knew
Yeah.
you were going to go back.
Yeah, right. But obviously the world shifted a little bit,
Yeah.
just a tad bit in 2020
Yeah.
when I gave birth.
Yeah.
And then our life shifted just a little
Yeah.
bit.
What else happened that year?
Yeah.
What else?
Our life shifted just a little bit. So, and like just beyond that, even today, there's just that understanding that previously I was considered the primary parent. So like the default parent.
Yeah.
If Nia needs something beyond breastfeeding, where obviously I was the
best.
one that could provide that, I was the one who would have to take the day off of work.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
was the
good
one
old days.
who was expected to be be on call for Nia. Like even if your
Yep.
parents were like babysitting her, they knew like, let's ask Dom if this is okay. Let's ask Dom to prepare this. Let's ask Dom. I'm the one. And then you were out of cancer treatment and it stayed.
Yeah.
And
Country
then-
roads, take me home.
And then we were both like back to work full time.
Yep.
And it stayed. And then so finally we sat down and we spoke and we're like,
Happy with this
whole-
arrangement?
yeah, yeah.
You're good. I'm good. Cool. Want to smosh?
So like as most women experience after childbirth or after becoming parents, it's like the expectation is you are supposed to compromise in your career. Whether it's by choice or by
Consequence?
I
Of like-
know consequence feels like it.
No, but consequence meaning like you can't go into the office and work the hours that you used to. And if your employer's like, no, like we need you pre-baby speed.
Right.
And if you can't do that,
Then it's
it's
I have
over,
to cut
right?
ties. Yeah. Exactly.
I gotta move. I gotta make moves.
So I think we got much better at that. Do you want to speak to your experience in that in terms of
I'm just
compromises
great.
you had to make? You're just great
It's great.
today.
Yeah.
You All right, Kolter Bouchard, everybody.
Not like I'm kind. I'm beautiful.
That
I'm
wasn't the question.
funny. I'm smart.
You're all those things.
I know.
And more.
I don't need
Absolutely.
your validation.
Okay.
Looking like a goddamn beast. You okay?
Yeah. Why?
Could be better.
Do you want to speak to your take on the theme of
You suck the meat off that bone.
compromises?
There can be a buildup of inequity, inequity over a while, where, and I alluded to this earlier, where you feel like you're making most of the compromises and the other person isn't. Now, I think we all as human beings automatically think, even if it's not the case, that I think we all think we're doing more than we are in most cases. And even if you are the one that's doing more in the relationship, you probably think you're doing even more than that.
I'm a Black woman. I'm gonna go ahead.
You're
and
magical. You're
assume
great.
that
I love you and I support you.
work
And
twice as hard.
I'm an
To
ally.
get.
But what I'm saying is,
I wasn't looking. Did the white fist go up? Okay.
Yes, it did. In our stories, we think that we are the hero and that everyone else is the villain, right? But the reality is that
I'm a Black woman.
you don't think you do villainous things once in a
Me?
while? Yes.
Do you?
You can be quite villainous. Listen to that laugh. That's the laugh of a true villain.
You can be quite villainous.
Yes.
In what ways?
And always.
Name one example of me being villainous.
Okay. In your office, you have a high-backed chair, like an evil villain, that swivels. That's point 2.
It's an office chair.
Uh-huh.
An ergonomic office chair. Okay, cool.
You have a diffuser in your office, which sounds like this, which sounds like Darth Vader of Star Wars. Another, I don't know if you know this, quite a famous villain. Yeah.
That sounds like the dude from Care Bears. Remember the villain from Care Bears?
I don't.
Okay.
Too busy watching Star Wars. I've never seen Star Wars.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've never seen a Star War. And also the nonstop scheming. You're always scheming.
I stay scheming. I'm not
Always
gonna lie.
scheming.
I stay scheming. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Villain vibes. Total villain vibes. You shoulder pads? You got a suit jacket on?
I need a cat.
No, you don't.
To just like pet. Oh, you know
what? You got a
I
cat.
I set it up.
I need to get a cat later.
A cat to pet.
Yeah. You got one I can adopt for 6 or 7 minutes?
That's it?
Including everything? Including the apology in the shower beforehand? For each of us?
I lost your train of thought.
You're quite villainous.
Okay, before that.
There can be a buildup of inequities,
Yes.
and I think that is a good transition to talking about resentment and what that can look like. And I believe that resentment is, and listen, I don't want to be accused of victim blaming here, but I think resentment is often a failure on our own part to properly communicate our feelings. There's a piece of it that is not having your feelings validated, and that can be frustrating, but also you have no control over other people. And so in the same way that shame is largely a useless emotion, I think that feeling resentment is completely unproductive. I think you can learn lessons from an interaction. You can learn that, like, this person is clearly a villain.
Why did you point at me and say that?
You're a villain, T. And my
you
greatest
made
op.
like what?
My greatest op. I think that it's unproductive, and I think that your time is better spent moving on from it, communicating your feelings. And if the other person is unreceptive, I mean, if that person is your spouse or your significant other, maybe they don't need to be your spouse or significant other anymore if they're not valuing your feelings like that. But if it comes to like a friend, for instance, or, you know, your manager or another person at work or like someone else in your life, a parent, a sibling, a cousin, whatever.
Wow.
A pen pal.
It kept going. A firefighter.
Mailman person, you know, like the person who made this camera, this plant.
Kolter.
Communicate your feelings and then move on.
This is something that came up in couples therapy for us once. It was more so on the topic of shame.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, expressing, I feel ashamed of myself that I did that. And our therapist at the time said, well, shame is a useless emotion. I mean, like, just because it's useless doesn't mean you're not going to experience it.
Sure.
Like, can you help that you feel angry? No, but you can help
What your actions are.
how you react with the anger. Absolutely. And so, like, even though shame and resentment are useless and that they don't produce
anything good.
Right. I don't think your emotions always need to be productive. We don't always need to be productive.
Mm.
It's a natural, valid reaction to something. I completely agree with what you're saying about, like, it's a result of not communicating. Because when I do feel resentment toward you in particular, it's because of something that and I know you have felt resentment towards me in your lifetime. It is because I failed to communicate something to you. I failed to hold myself accountable to something, or I failed to trust you as my partner, and therefore kept that information from you and allowed whatever it was to build up.
The fester, yeah.
Exactly. So I absolutely agree with that. You want to speak to any particular times where you might have felt resentment towards me? Oh.
No.
Yes.
It's so important to it's important to communicate and then move on because, well, we both said this. You can't control what other people are doing. You can control what you do.
Yeah.
Can't necessarily control what you feel. You can regulate your emotions. But once I say you did this and I didn't like it,
yeah,
it's that's it. I have no control over anything you do.
Okay, so here's a question. How do you manage resentment? I know it's a big question.
How do I manage resentment? I try not to be resentful in the first place.
Okay.
Because it's easier to avoid it's easier to avoid falling into the resentment trap than it is getting out of the resentment trap. Because those feelings, it's so easy to ruminate, right?
Yeah.
You feel resentful towards somebody, and you just it's this cascade of negativity. It's this cascade of this person did this, and I feel like this because of this, and I bet they're doing this, and we invent a lot of things. But avoiding resentment by going, this person has let me down a second time or a third time now. I really should be going, I'm not going to collaborate with this person anymore. Or my significant other is not listening to what I'm saying. Well, I need to change the way that I'm communicating to my significant other.
Okay.
Or I need to change my significant other. Right? That's
right.
one of two things. Either I'm not communicating properly, or the other person has no interest in communicating with me and in receiving things and changing. So I try to avoid that altogether. But there was something that had happened about 1.5 years ago. I got really screwed over with a contract, and I was the bitterest man on earth for 2 weeks. And we referenced earlier in the episode a conversation I had with Dominique about hey, you need to change some stuff. Because as much as it's affecting the household, it's affecting you most of all. And you're my best friend, and I don't want, and just you don't deserve those things. In the same way that you said that to me, which was hey, you are clearly tormented and you need to try something else. To whatever, I'm here for you. And the same thing I said to you, I'm here for you. Please use me as a resource. We can talk about this. We can work through it together, but we need some change here. That was a real big lesson, because I was resentful. That was my only thought for 2 weeks afterwards was oh God, these guys, and they did this, and
when you got screwed over in your contract. Yeah.
2 wasted weeks, truly.
Was it wasted, or did you need that? Did you need to
I didn't need it that
be
intensely.
in your feelings?
I didn't need it that intensely. I should have, I'm glad I didn't make any rash decisions at the time.
Okay.
And I think that ultimately what has transpired since then has been for the best. But yeah, I still feel raw about it sometimes for a moment, and a moment's okay. But when it's your only thought and I'm not living in the moment, I'm just living in that resentment. I guess that's how you know. It's okay to be resentful for a couple of seconds, and maybe resentful is not even the right word. It's okay to have a flash of anger. It's okay to have a flash of being mournful of something. Maybe mourning is a better word. But you have to avoid resentment, because it's also incredibly self-pitying.
Yeah.
You got to get out. Hey, you can't stay in Pity City, right?
Pity City.
There was this viral clip of the CEO of the Herman Miller chair company, and she made like a $6 million bonus or something, but cut bonuses for everybody else. And she had this meeting, and somebody recorded it and uploaded the footage. And she was like, everyone's asking if they're getting their bonus or if they're losing their jobs. We need to come up with, the company needed to make like $30 million or something. You need to be thinking about the $30 million, not, am I going to have a job? Am I going to get a bonus? No, get out of Pity City.
What?
Yeah, just completely disconnected from reality.
You need to think about the $30 million
that the company needs.
Not if you're going to have a job.
That's correct, yeah.
Wow.
Paraphrasing, but.
Okay. All right. But when you also speak to feeling bad about being in that resentful state for a couple of weeks, I think the opposite of that is also like, and you phrased it as grieving. Part of the grieving process is like
acknowledgement
sure. And going through those different stages, right? So the opposite of that is like not even giving yourself the space to grieve, not giving yourself the space to feel those emotions, validate yourself, experience what you're experiencing, and just like getting right back into it. And you've done that before too, and I do that
Get back up on the horse, right?
Bro, that's my MO. I
horse
don't
girl.
have time for feelings. Horse girl.
Didn't expect that you were a horse girl.
What the hell are you talking about?
Do you know what a horse girl is?
I know what a horse girl is. Who told you I'm a horse girl?
You said you're like, that's all I do is just get back up on the horse.
You said the word horse. I had never said the word horse.
Why are you talking about trad wives and Trump again?
Oh my God.
Greatest president, better than Lincoln, better than Reagan.
Stop it. So yeah, it's finding that balance of allowing yourself to feel your feelings, take care of yourself in that way, but also like finding a productive way to push forward. And you don't have to immediately jump to the productivity. Taking care of yourself. What's the saying that they always say? Self-care isn't selfish?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Who said that?
I don't know.
Lord. Anyway. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
Should we get into pillow talk?
Absolutely. So I have a question this week, and the question is, what's something, by the way, this is the segment of the show where we ask something a little bit more intimate, sometimes a little more sexual, sometimes about sex stuff, like you know sex? The kind.
What?
You know what I'm talking about. Some of that goofy.
I don't.
Some of that goofy after this show.
Okay.
Yuck. All right. My question for you this week is, what's something that you didn't know about me right away that you discovered later on that you've really fallen in love with? Obviously, the Top game you knew about immediately.
What?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I had no idea what you would be like as a father. I had no idea. Like, the only kid you ever interacted with would have been my nephew.
Yeah. Our nephew. What?
Okay, well, like before, when we were dating, he's my nephew. And when you came into his life, he was like 2 years old. And so I have so many pictures of you, like just playing on the ground with him and coloring with him on the floor. And he would bring his white Ken doll to me. I think my niece had a white Ken doll, and he brought her over and he's like, Kolter?
Yeah. I'm Ken.
Probably the only white dude in his life. So I guess being reintroduced to you at the end of the day as Kolter the father.
A gentler figure.
I don't know. I think you've always been very gentle with me. You've always been. Thank you.
Yeah. Wish you could see that.
You've always been very patient and have forced me to learn gentleness with you, with myself. And so seeing you with Nia as her father has definitely been like meeting you all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big answer. Damn.
And then the other thing that I've fallen in love with about you that I didn't know. I love when you sing to me.
Yeah?
I love, like, honestly.
Such a bad singer.
I love it. Like, as much as you love when I rub your head for 45 minutes and you're lying in my lap and you said that grounds you. when you sing to me, like so often I'll just be like, can you sing to me while we're lying in bed? Because I just love.
I got to learn some songs.
Yeah, you do. You don't know the words to anything.
Yeah.
Not even the national anthem. But yeah, that for me is just such a vulnerable, sweet.
Wow. Okay. I will.
Action.
I will stealthily pull up the lyrics to a song. And I will sing
I
it
would
to
have
you.
karaoke
Yeah?
works too.
Okay.
Absolutely. You bought me my microphone.
Alright.
Use it sometime.
Okay.
Okay, what's something that you didn't know about me but have?
Nothing. I knew everything, and I left it off from the very beginning. How funny you could be.
You didn't know that off the bat?
You were like not very many jokes, like minimal jokes.
I
would
was
say.
serious. I was in university.
Yeah, not me.
First generation of my family. I was there for business.
I was here to waste time and money.
Truly.
Mine
Were there
and
to
other
waste
people's.
my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty happy I'm wasting your time now, hey? I'm going to waste a little tonight. That's what they call me, a waste man. Because
That's not why.
No, why is it then? Like WAIST, because I can dance so well?
Oh, dear.
That is an insult to dancing. How funny you can be, and like how dark your sense of humor can be. And
I don't
also
really
like
have a dark sense of humor.
you developed it over the years. like infinitely funny. And you're also very silly. And that's a side of you I think a lot of people don't get to see. And good, because it's all mine. But like you can be very silly. You're sillier with me than you are with our child. Dominique pretends she's a lizard. And also, and then I do. And the joke is like we go on each other. And like at the most inopportune times, of course, like you're reading and it's like, God, what? And then you're just like, like you have to say, I'm a lizard. And then it becomes a fight where Dominique goes, you're not a lizard, I'm a lizard. And then I go, but like my heart's not really in it. And that's also part of it where I go like, no, like I'm a lizard too. You're not the lizard. But like even in the character that I'm doing, I'm acknowledging that you truly are the lizard and I'm just, a funny cracker. But what did I say earlier? What kind of cracker was I? Because I thought at the time that'd be a good name for a memoir.
Oh, I don't remember.
Something I'll have to go back. Comment below. Yeah, please do. I'm not going to go back.
Yeah,
but I will read the
comments. I
comments.
do not remember.
So, yeah.
Okay.
You're funny.
Thank you, Mara.
Probably the funniest person I know.
I think that's such a good point that you made about like my silliness that a lot of people, most people do
Angry black
not,
woman though, right?
Excuse me?
That's how society sees you. Not me. I'm not part of society. Remember, I'm compromised.
Like I'm a Taurus at the end of the day, so I'm loyal as hell. And if you're in my circle, you are in it for life.
Yeah?
You will get...
Which circle? Can I choose? I've had 2 of the 3.
Did you do it like that on purpose?
No, I didn't, but that's pretty loose. I've had 2 of those. Yikes.
Do you have a mailbox question?
I do. Okay, so this is the segment of the show, Mailbox, where we take mail out of a box, but metaphorically.
Just find that I'll introduce it. So if you have a question for us, you can email it over to info@koltertalks.com, or you can send us a voice note that we will play on the podcast. You can send it over via Instagram at Kolter Talks or at dom.creates.
This one is from, person's name is TAJI. How do you think? Let's take
TAJI.
And this person is, they're Norwegian, adopted by Norwegian parents.
Okay.
How do you think you say that?
Is the
Thai?
name Norwegian or are they Norwegian?
Well, I guess this person is also Norwegian. I want to make sure that I'm saying it right. Because, you take the time to like comment or whatever.
Man, you could have done that before the damn app.
Yeah, probably. Okay, ready? Man, okay. Taji?
All right, Taji.
But maybe should I listen to a few more?
No.
Okay. Taji. Hopefully.
Shout out to this person. Thank you so much. We apologize for mispronouncing your name.
Technically, Google did it. Hi, my spouse and I are hoping to have kids soon. I'm black and they are Dutch American, pronounced white, LOL. It's funny. It's funny. They have done research and seen my interactions with the black experience in America. However, I was curious, as a white father raising a black child, are there anything you weren't initially prepared for or shocked by the way society views your parenting? I was adopted by Norwegian parents, so I have the exact opposite experience, if that makes sense. I recommend this book all the time, The Mixed Race Experience. If you are the parent, regardless of your race, of multiracial children, it is a phenomenal resource. Please read that book. And I think also when it comes to transracial adoption, I mean, Gina Wilder, friend of the show, also friend of my life. She's a friend, like in real life,
Friend
not
of
just
my life.
Yeah, like Gina's my friend.
Shout out to Gina.
Shout out to Gina.
Andrew.
And they are great resources when it comes to transracial adoption. And I'd say when it comes to like things that I was shocked by, I don't think I'm shocked by much. And also like, you have to keep in mind, we had a child 10 years into our relationship.
Yeah.
So by that point, we had established, at least in theory, what we each expected, like in terms of parenting, like what our values are when it comes to parenting, methods of discipline, for instance, like not hitting our child.
Yeah.
Because that's really important to me that we don't hit our child, as it should be to every parent. And it, you could say like it's different cultures, hitting your kid's never okay. So like that was important to us. And I'd say like, maybe it wasn't like a racial thing, or my family, like there's my parents and my sister and I, was very small. We didn't like we saw grandparents sometimes, but we never saw like cousins really or aunts and uncles because they live so far away. Whereas your family gets together all the time.
Yeah.
They like,
it's a big family.
They're up in each other's business,
Yeah. Not that your family is not.
My family's,
More so.
They're in business, right? They're in business. They're entrepreneurs, right? So we're all in each other's business, and you guys you like mingle more. And so that was maybe not shocking, but like aspirational for me to make sure that my daughter is like, knows her extended family members, But also like y'all live really close to each other, whereas my family's just scattered all over the place.
Right.
What about you?
I had this preconceived notion that as a Black woman raising a Black child, and I'm going to tell you, like, describe it this way because this is how I came into it. I'm a Black woman, therefore I'm raising a Black child, and I know everything there is to know. I have a lot to teach him. I have a lot to teach his family. I have to make sure that I'm raising her to be a proud Black woman. And I just need to make sure that I stand my ground for the sake of my child and for the sake of her.
Yeah.
Her future. But what I actually learned was through reading books, through like one book that I read was called, I think it's called Blacker the Berry.
Okay.
I don't remember off the top of my head. We'll probably leave it in the description box if I do eventually remember. And there's this great resource on Instagram. Her name is Psych Jen. She's a multiracial children's therapist.
Okay.
And she shares a lot of resources about the multiracial experience growing up. And so I never thought to research what it would be like for our child who was not just Black but is also white, and the fact that like being brought up to believe that you're just one of those things is also wrong and is very confusing for her because she sees that she's daddy's child but I'm telling her that she's Black. Yeah. And that's not wrong. She is Black, but she's also white. So in learning that like in some multiracial people's experiences, they end up like switching how they identify over the year. So maybe in their teens, they identify as Black. Maybe in their early 20s, they identify as white. Maybe in their mid 20s, they're Black and they're white. You know what I mean? So like, it's everyone's experience is different. And so for me to think I'm going to be raising this Black child and I'm going to give her all this Black pride, it's not wrong for me to do that. Yeah. But it's wrong for me to think that I own her identity.
I get it.
And I get to establish it.
I get it.
So I would encourage you to also be open to the possibility that you are wrong and it's not just your partner who has to do all the learning and the work, but that like it's very much on both of y'all, and neither you are going to share that child's multiracial identity, unless one of you are. I don't know. All I know is that you are adopted by
Norwegian parents.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know your race. I don't know your ethnicity. I don't know your experience at all. But there's a potential that you need to be open to, allowing your child to guide you in that way, and just being open to what their experience ends up being.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right.
Beautiful cracker. That's what I was thinking of earlier. That's going to be the title of my memoir, or like a special or something. Beautiful cracker.
Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
At Kolter Docs on Instagram and TikTok. And you can follow my beautiful wife, Dominique, at Dom Creates on TikTok and at Dom.creates on Instagram.
Thank you so much, everybody. And like I said before, if you have any questions for us, please hit us up on our socials. We'd love to feature you on an upcoming episode.
Also a reminder, there are 3 more episodes after this one until we are in a 3-week hiatus ahead of season 2. And we've got some really big things planned, like perhaps some speech therapy before then. And it's just like, it's such a joy. It's such a joy speaking every week. And thanks so much for interacting. Make sure to like and subscribe. And also P.O. Box.
We'll be on the screen.
I'm excited to are you checking in on it?
No. I gotta go.
Yeah. It's at the mall, right?
No.
Oh.
You don't even know where it is. We're going to check it this week. Don't worry. Please interact and
you
send.
Will check.
What?
You will check.
Didn't I just say that?
You said we will check. You will check. Bye. I love you.